First kiss. Ted and Willie Lincoln, 1869 to 1865. Abraham Lincoln and his wife had four sons, Robert, Edward, William, and Thomas. Mr. Lincoln said that baby Thomas was as wiggly as a tadpole. He called him Ted. The nickname stuck. When Mr. Lincoln became president, Robert was away at college. Eddie had died of diphtheria before Willie was born. Diphtheria는 급성 전염병이에요. So Willie and Ted had the White House all to themselves. Willie and Ted were famous for their pranks. One time they rang for help in every room in the mansion. Servants ran in every direction trying to answer their call. Another time the boys drove their pet goats through one of Mrs. Lincoln's parties. The goats were pulling chairs with the boys on them. No place in the White House was off limits. Willie and Ted turned the mansion's roof into a battleship. They blasted the cabinet room door with a black toy cannon. Ted set up a lemonade stand in the entrance hall and charged all the president's visitors for a drink. Nothing could separate Willie and Ted except death. Willie came down with typhoid fever, 장티푸스. 열이에요. At age 11, he was the first child to die in the White House. 9-year-old Ted and his father became closer than ever. They even had their own secret code. 3 raps on the door, followed by 2 short bangs. No matter how busy, the president promised to always open the door when hearing the code. One day, Ted wanted to go for a drive. He knocked on the president's office door using the secret code. President Lincoln was in an important meeting, but he left it to join Ted and his pet goats for a carriage ride. The Secretary of War made Ted a lieutenant. He had his own Union Army uniform, which he called his blues. Ted liked to march the servants up and down the lawn. They secretly called him the tyrant of the White House. Jesse Ruth Grant, 1869 to 1877. Jesse Ruth Grant liked his father's new job. The President of the United States got to work at home. Before he was president, Ulysses S. Grant had been a famous general. He was away for years fighting in the Civil War. Now they spent more time together. Every clear night, President Grant and Jesse headed for the White House roof. Jesse had a telescope. They stayed up late studying the stars together. Jesse's brothers were all away at college. His older sister, Nellie, was busy with parties. 11-year-old Jesse could have been lonely, but he had lots of friends. Jesse and his friends turned a White House toolshed into their secret clubhouse. They called themselves the KFR Society. No one but them knew what the initials stood for. President Grant's guess, the Kick, Fight, and Run Society. Jesse had bad luck with pet dogs. They all died. Then someone sent him a huge black Newfoundland named Old Faithful. President Grant warned the servants, "If this dog dies, you are all fired." Luckily, Old Faithful lived a long, long time. Stamp collecting was Jesse's favorite hobby. Once Jesse and his cousin sent away $5 for some foreign stamps. The stamps didn't come. President Grant asked a policeman to help his son. The policeman wrote this letter: "I'm a Capitol policeman. I can arrest anyone, anywhere, at any time for anything. I want you to send those stamps to Jesse Grant right at once." A few days later, the stamps arrived. Chapter 3, the Roosevelt Zoo, 1901 to 1909. Theodore Roosevelt has 6 fun-loving children. They range age from 4 to 17. The White House was one big playground to them. The Roosevelts had more pets than any other first family. The animals had free run of the White House. You might find a badger in the bathtub or a jumping kangaroo rat resting in someone's coat pocket. One time, Archie Roosevelt was sick in bed with measles. He missed his pet pony, Alpha and Quinn, his brother, and his sisters knew just how to cheer him up. They snuck the pony into the elevator and up to Archie's room. Archie and Quentin Roosevelt formed the White House gang. 6 other boys joined them, including the vice president's son. Quentin was their leader. They had a clubhouse and a secret handshake. The White House gang was always getting in trouble. The boys skated down the hallways and flicked spitballs at famous portraits. Archie liked sliding down the staircase on silver trays. Quentin was an expert stilt worker. Alice Roosevelt loved pranks as much as her brothers did. She had a pet snake named Emily Spinach. It was as skinny as her Aunt Emily and as green as spinach. She hid her pet snake in her purse. At parties, she let Emily slither out among the guests. Alice became the most famous teenager in the country, beautiful and playful. She was known as Princess Alice. She even had a color named for her, Alice Blue.